Thank you.
One moment, I have to change.
Take your time.
Yeah, now I see you. Yes,
Cool.
Good morning or good evening. From last time, there is something left, and it was the last person, I think Lucas, with when he was angry at his parents, and then the powerlessness underneath. And what I can see when this was with the hospital and something else, and when the doctors has no time, there comes something so crystallized up, like shocked or indignant, also like really really, and I need to do something and something like this. And then on the other moment, I hear you say standing up for yourself, and I guess it's such different place to stand up from yourself. You know, when this being so shocked or not seen or something, does it mean there is something left? Like with Lucas, I think you have been last time. There's, yeah, a little bit like a question or
yeah. So of course, you could say like there'll be things that touch old information,
mm,
and when a response comes from that, it's not related fully to the present circumstance. It's coming with a lot of back story.
yeah.
And so when it comes like that, it's not, how can I say, appropriate to the moment fully. It's it'll cause ripples when it comes with all that back pressure, back story, back emotion. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and what I can see, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like discerning. Okay, look, of course, we'd love to be seen and heard and treated well. And yet, I mean, when we go into a hospital, we know
it's not always
many
like
hospitals, many hospitals, they understaffed, they're overworked. It's like you're in a funny field to begin with, and it's not personal. It's just the system, you could say, and so it's like like sometimes when you're dealing with something and you're speaking to someone on the phone who works for someone, and it's frustrating because they've got all these rules and regulations, and it's just it's absurd in a way, and but it has nothing to do with the person you're speaking to on the phone. So and to be upset with them, just it's like it's yeah, it's yeah. So it's like, okay, look, it's, I mean, if anything, it's noticing, okay, wow, I see the system gets really touched in this circumstance where it doesn't feel seen, it doesn't feel honored and held or whatever. But being present to it in a way that allows, like you're noticing, it's not like the noticing stops, but it's, how can I say, it's used as an opportunity, that it's not carrying everything from the past and projecting it onto who you're dealing with in that moment, which just isn't clean, you could say. It makes more trouble, usually, rather than it helps anything.
Yeah. And also when I was looking, it's now the oncologue, the doctor, and not the hospital, and then just to ask from a good place, please, I need a little bit more time. Also, the whole system is like, I was,
and that's a different thing to ask. Yes. Do you have more time for? I would love more time.
Yes.
This is my life, and I need, and I need more information. Or I need whatever it is. I need. Of course, that's beautiful when that can speak for itself. Yeah, but it speaks from a vulnerable place. Then it's just like, and it's an asking. It's not a demanding. It's just like, okay, it's I would love it. And when we speak like that and with that level of vulnerability, then it becomes a beautiful invitation. And someone's either ready to take the invitation or
or maybe
you
not
know,
even
or,
listen.
or they can't. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's not a problem, actually. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I just put, it was just like.
That's just making that discernment. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, anger comes up. Great.
Yeah.
Now, you know, if there's confusion and the anger blasts out, we could say, look, I'm speaking up for myself, but to me, that's a confusion. It's not, you know, especially if who it's blasting on doesn't have the maturity to really meet it. All it does is it creates ripples, and afterwards.
In the normal, you know, in the normal surrounding, I say, not in meetings like this. When you tell something like that, such story, then you have to tell them, otherwise, and then it was like, or otherwise you are very weak and not standing up. But I know it's just it's all this rebels, and this is beautiful, just to leave it. And yes, yeah.
I mean,
yes.
In a way, to me, it just seems like it's being kind to yourself, if there's such a thing, you know, because when we kind of, you know, when something expresses in a way that causes ripples, you know, we get the consequence of those ripples.
Yes.
So it's, you know, of course, it's like.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, you know, I'm really good. I never saw it so crystallized that the system can be so, you know, but it's not healthy, I know. But I was really wondering what came up the last 2-3 weeks, actually. Yeah. So, yeah. So it feels round now. Thank you, Isaac. Yes.
Thanks for bringing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, definitely. Hi.
I need some help. The situation is this about a week ago, the goats where the ram stays, they were taken away. And then sorry, I need to take the headphones because I have a very strange sound here. Do you hear that too?
There's so much sound there from the frog in my
Oh,
background.
maybe these are the frogs.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and so he saw how the goats were taken away in a brutal way because they didn't want to, and I heard it, and then I went to him, and he was very traumatized because he had the same situation a few months ago, and he was very frightened, like in the beginning, and then I stayed with him the last week around 5 hours a day in the cold, and I think it helped him very much. But when I went away, he was always very alone. Sheep they can't really stay alone. Yeah. So and then he was getting a little bit better, but we were still trying to find a different place for him. But the difficulty is we can't really transport him because it would be too exciting. He's very old, and also to how do you say, to paralyze? No, how do you say when you weiß jemand das Wort für betäuben?
Traumatizing.
No.
Anesthesia.
Huh?
Anesthesia?
Yeah. Isaac, do you understand?
No, what's that word in English?
Anesthesia.
I think it's seduced.
Okay.
So that he wouldn't, thank you, that he wouldn't, that he would sleep, you know.
Yeah.
It's also it's also not possible because you have to get close to him, and then it's again the whole drama. And so and what happened a few days ago, I found a place where he could probably stay with the horses, with 2 horses, so at least he wouldn't be completely alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow I had the idea with children, because he's very he trusts also children very much. And then we had the idea to put like a belt around his neck, so we could walk in there. We just wanted to try how it is. And I thought if he would see it, and then he would show me if he doesn't want it. But he was somehow distracted, and I didn't notice, and we put it around his neck. And when he realized, he freaked completely out and ran in a circle until he was completely exhausted, hurt himself very much. Like he ran against the wall, and now he and now he doesn't eat anymore, and he can't walk anymore because you hurt his legs. And it just touches so much in me. I wanted to help, and somehow it just made it worse. And now I feel when I'm with him, it doesn't really comfort him anymore. He's in such a bad condition. And now they're thinking about to shoot him. And I think it touches a very old place where I've maybe as a child I felt very guilty. If, like, when my mother died also very early, that I couldn't help. And so I always, if someone suffers, I suffer so much with them. It's really too much. And I know it's not helpful, but it feels so existential that if I don't do it, I feel so guilty. And and also, of course, he feels very lonely now. In fact, the whole week very abandoned in a way, and that's also what I felt in my childhood. So I see this all, but this I just feel very helpless also to deal with this. Thank you for hearing me. it's it's a little bit difficult for me to feel you. What do you sense?
Yeah, the way it feels and seems to me is like there's love, and the love has somehow gotten entangled with an idea of how it should be or how it could be. So you have the love, just the love. But as soon as it gets
I have to make you a little bit louder.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, within the love, there's this wanting to help and to wanting to make things better and all that stuff. So just taking a moment and seeing, okay, those movements happen. But when they get, you know, like somehow thinking that the love is those movements, with it, you know, within the love, those movements happen. But the love has nothing to do with it. It expresses that way, but there's just this love, whether you can get through to this ram now or not, the love is still there. Whether, you know, I mean, whether his fate is to be shot right now or whatever happens to him, the love is there. And that's what's, you could say there's a beauty to that. And then where the suffering comes is wanting it to look a certain way or wanting it to feel a certain way. And those, how can I say, that those wanting it to look a certain way or feel a certain way comes up in the love, but it's not the love pure. You know, so it's like just starting to see, look, the love is there. And the love is beautiful. And then these ideas, which in a way are expressions of the love, but they're not the love pure. They, you know, it's like we have no control on that stuff. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's like, of course, you know, sadness will come up, seeing, you know, he's old and, you know, he's coming to the end of his journey one way or another. And it is natural, it's part of this lifestyle. It doesn't so much, knowing that doesn't so much help with this, what gets touched in when there's this idea of how you'd like it to be. But to me, it just feels like, okay, seeing those are ideas, they are expressions within the love, but they're not the love pure. The love pure is beautiful. And whatever's happening in that ram, it's like, you know, his system freaked out. There was no bad intention on your side, on his side. It's just what it did, and from that freak out, he hurt himself. You know, it's like somehow at that moment he didn't realize that you were trying to assist him, and so okay, it can happen. You know, but how to be gentle, you know, somehow there was no bad intention. There was, it looked like it was working until it became clear it wasn't, and then it was too late. It was already, it was too late. And you know, you can, in a way, there's a way of being hard on yourself, but I don't think that helps at all.
It doesn't
really
help him either.
And it doesn't help him, and it's just, you know, like, it's just that being hard on yourself. Just taking a moment to see that movement of being hard on yourself. Honoring it, it's not wrong, it's not bad, but just inquiring, what's its function? What somewhere that being hard on yourself is a familiar pattern, and it seems to have some value, otherwise the system wouldn't do it. But so we're just taking a moment to see what is the value of that being hard on ourselves. And we all know it, you know, that kind of beating ourselves up. What's its function? Trying to help, and
try and protect me that like I do a mistake again.
That doesn't happen again. And then the question is, does it in fact help in that regard, or does it just, it's an old pattern that's trying to help, but it's confused? Not trying to change it, just recognizing what it is. Does it actually work, that then we don't make the same mistake again? It doesn't actually. But it's just to see it. It wants to help, but it doesn't. Yeah. It's to me, you know, we're like, you're in the circumstance with this ram. It's not like a, you know, like that's your field of expertise or anything. You're in the learning process with that lamb. So we can say it's a mistake, but we can also say it's just part of the learning process. You know, it's like there's no bad intention whatsoever. In fact, just the opposite. There was a wanting to assist and going about it as gently as you knew how, until at some point a freak out happened in that being, in that animal. You know, and, that can happen with a person, the child, the baby. It's like, you know, it's like, especially with a, you know, like an animal where it's very easy to misread signals unless you're like so tuned in, man. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, in some moments I can see how innocent it was, and that the thought just didn't. I mean, I can say I should have known or thought it through or something, but it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's, you know.
Look, you were looking at how to get this ram into a more beautiful circumstance for it, and there were so many challenges, you know, like can't put him to sleep, can't move him because it's traumatizing for him. And so this seemed like a, you know, man, it's amazingly generous to walk this animal take your time and energy to walk this animal to a better circumstance for it after putting energy in to find that other circumstance. Easy that it's like you jumped over a signal because it seemed like the only solution in a way. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I didn't even jump over a signal because he didn't give one. He was completely distracted with the dog or something. But I didn't notice that. So, well, thank you, Liz, for your words. And I also feel that I often also had like partners who were in really bad conditions or were in jail or drug addict or whatever, and always this trying to help and trying to influence their faith, and now and I thought I learned already that it's not really possible, but now it's so obvious, like it's
yeah, so then it's an opportunity to look at this. You could say there's a natural expression of wanting to assist, but it seems like it has something else with it where it's not free. There's something else playing there.
Yeah, it's out of a pain of feeling guilty, of feeling.
Yeah. So that's where the opportunity really is. It's like, okay, wow, just taking time just to feel what's underneath it, because otherwise it'll just repeat itself. And so there's a movement that's coming not from from an absolutely clear space. It's coming with wanting to rescue, or like I think many people know that movement. It's a lot of relationships start like that, where you get together with someone and you want to rescue them. Yeah.
But do you have a feeling when we sit together what is underneath that?
Let's just sit here and just see what comes up, like that movement to want to rescue. Just honoring it, seeing it for what it is. It's not right or wrong or good or bad, but
I feel a little bit blurry.
Well, that just means you're touching something, that's all.
Yeah.
Just going slow. Oftentimes there'll be a sense of identity that's tied to that movement, to that habit or mechanism, however you want to speak it. And of course, it's like, who am I without that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good question. Who would you be without that? Who would you be without that pattern?
Yeah.
Just take a moment to who would you be without that pattern?
I asked myself this question before when my partner went to jail a few years ago, and I looked fresh now, and it still feels like then I don't have a right to live.
Okay, so you can see it's really tied to something quite existential. Yeah.
If
So
I'm
then once you can identify that, what's the sensation or the felt sense in the body of I don't have a right to live? Just slowly, gently, just
I can feel like a contraction in the lower belly.
yeah.
What do you
And
sense?
again, that's where I feel it too. And we have no idea where it comes from or even what it is. You just notice it. Somewhere there's some sense of, yeah. You know, the lower belly would be tied to your right to be you, the right sense of belonging. I mean, you know, all energetically it ties around that stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any more space around this inquiry? It feels, I mean, when we started, there was a lot of emotion. And how is it now?
Yeah, it feels, I feel more space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can also feel the contraction and the fear. You know, yeah, what will happen next?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it feels very helpful what you said. And also in the last week, what I sensed after the retreat, actually, it started. I felt this all of a sudden this impulse to really like all the love I have for the ram, or the caring, to somehow also try to give that to the little one inside. And so I did that every day, and it really helped, and I was in a pretty good space. And then just yesterday that knocked me out with the bell.
So this caring, let's just take a moment with this caring. So just here, no agenda, nothing to do, no caring, no not caring, no anything. How is it without the filter of caring? When we're just here, we're not caring for, just here receiving this moment as love. And then what happens if now we bringing this idea of caring for the little one, or caring for someone, or caring for the planet, or caring for whatever, what happens? Just when we, life starts to look through that filter of caring.
Yeah, somehow it creates separation.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's like, what's the difference between just being appropriate? I mean, you're there and you see an action that can happen smoothly, easily, without ripples, and between caring.
Yeah, caring is there's an I and you and a responsibility.
Whole story.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's an interesting movement, huh? Right. It's somewhere, like an identity forms around caring. Like, and that's, that becomes like a reference point.
Yeah. And in that moment, it's like I'm separated from the knowing that it is already cared. I mean, everything is already held.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's, like it's a movement, it's an identity, and there's a price to pay for that.
Yeah.
Perspective, you could say. And then it's just like, okay, wow. And it's not going to the other side of not caring. It's just in a moment, in a sense, being free of caring and not caring. It's just responding in the moment. Yeah.
And also the confusion that if I suffer with him, like the night when he had that thing around his neck and I couldn't take it off, I just had it around my neck the whole night. I couldn't sleep. I just needed it. And with somehow that idea somewhere that I can take it away from him.
Yeah.
With that. But it's not, I'm not. And I go there and I'm full of sadness and, and how can I be there for him then?
Yeah. Or for yourself, for that matter.
Exactly.
So, this movement of caring for the little one, I'm not sure if it's such a great idea, because it keeps that same mechanism alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mean with myself then?
Yeah, if caring for the little one, yeah. It's just, it's just, at least it's not projecting outward, but it's still keeping that that perspective.
So, is it just maybe more about?
It's an exploration just to see, like, somewhere along the line, this filter, this lens of caring got taken on. You know, I'm a caring person, and it, you know, just looks through that lens without ever looking at, is there cost to it? What does it actually do? Does it get in? Does it help? Like, have you ever had someone caring for you? And what does it feel like if someone's caring for you? What point does it feel like, oh, this is fantastic, or does it overstep in a way?
Yeah, I also asked myself this question a few days these days,
Yeah.
because you know, how would that feel for me if somebody would care for me like I do now? I mean, like from that place, and it.
You see, because caring is so often confused with loving. It's like, you know, and so.
Yeah.
I would say there's like there's a way of being in tune that just like when your hand puts food into your mouth, it's not caring for your mouth, or it's not caring for your, it's just life doing its thing. Yeah. But if it starts to get into like, oh, this hand is caring for, it gets distorted in a funny way. Yes, just it's a beautiful exploration. Just looking at these subtleties, you know, just when it moves into becoming someone and identifying, you know, like the whole what happens around it. It's you've experienced that side of things. And so we just
wanting to take the pain from somebody so we don't have to feel it.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I don't want to take more time. It's almost an hour now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we can, thank you. We can check just with the community. Did anyone get any value out of making those distinctions? Yeah, seems like some people got some value out of it. Yeah. I mean, you know, I also see, you know, like as a parent, it's so quick that the caring goes into, you know, from the perspective of the child, like having a sense of not, where it gets out of balance, just like. Yeah, in a way, because it goes in the direction of like, I know what's best for you. But, you know, for me, if someone approaches me like that, it doesn't really feel that great. It's like, I understand that's your way of saying that there's love here, but it, Sana.
Hi.
Hey, Sana.
The heart, it's I feel like it's sinking inside, trying to protect itself. And now laughter came. Mm. Mm. Felt like it's okay that it's doing that.
And I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like it's only doing that because it's also flowing in a very sweet way as well. So,
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
also
it's like,
space.
yeah, the space. And, you know, it's like, it's interesting just to see that movement to protect in the moment, and then to really check and see is it relevant to this moment, or is it from old information? Because if it's, you know, functioning from old information, then it's not really relevant to this moment. So
Yeah.
just making that discernment. And when it tries to protect in this moment, that's not relevant to this moment. What does that do?
It's really hurting itself. It's very uncomfortable to contract like that.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's hurting itself so that it won't hurt.
Mm. Mm.
It's like, it's a funny movement. And it's okay. Once it's seen, I don't think it can continue, really.
What did you say? Sorry.
Once it's seen,
Mm.
once you see it, it's like, okay, so it's functioning in old information. It's not relevant to this moment. And the nervous system will find a way to enjoy it. And it might be worthwhile just to look the hurt that's happened in the heart. did that hurt arise from just love flowing, or did it arise from wanting?
The hurt is actually when the love is contracted.
Yeah.
When it's not flowing, that's when it didn't feel safe to flow somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is contraction and hurt.
Yeah. So the not feeling safe for it to flow, what's that based on? Because just a flowing heart there's no problem.
Mm.
So I'm saying if hurt happened and then it didn't feel safe, what's that hurt based on and predicated on?
What the old belief was?
What's it based on? If love is just flowing,
Yeah,
it doesn't want anything back, it doesn't need anything. But if some wanting arises in there, wanting to be loved or wanting to be
yes,
something, then of course hurt was happening in that moment already. Because an idea has crept in, it's more important than just that flow.
yes, yeah. It's when you speak, it's becoming a little more clear that it's just an inside job, that it's not what my parents did or how they met me. It could just also flow.
Yeah.
It was good to see that.
You know, within the dualistic perspective, it expresses as I love you. Do you love me? And yet there's only love flow. It's that I and you and all that other stuff is confusion. It's not. So, you know, I love you. It sounds so romantic, and it's like, what do we mean? I can feel love flowing, and then it wants to attach to an idea of someone or something. But if the flow is just flowing, it's like,
yeah, that's it.
It's not related to anything or anyone.
Yeah, and sometimes when I love you is said, but it's not flowing in that moment, it can be very confusing.
No,
I love you because all the story we have, but if it's not here, it's
weird. Always conditional. I love you as long as, you know, something. Otherwise, it's just love. It's no I and you. I love you. Right behind it is I hate you.
yes.
Yeah.
That's very confusing when it can change like that.
So quickly, in an instant. So it has to do with that idea of an I and a you and all of that. Otherwise, it's just love.
yeah, there has been so much confusion around love because I've seen it change like that
Oh, yeah,
in the
for sure.
family, and that, yeah, and this was good.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you, Simon. Ah, yeah, training.
Yeah. Hi. Interesting topic. Yeah. Yeah, the love flows, and to me it feels like there's like a pole, and where there's another pole, the more open it is, the more flow there is. It feels like somehow there's flow to many like, I don't know, fields or poles, like, I don't know the vocabulary very well, like for, like,
So,
compared to electricity, maybe, I don't know.
So let's make a few distinctions here for fun. So there's love or unconditional love, and then there's attraction. So just making a distinction between unconditional love, and I'm not saying one's better than the other or worse than the other. We're just making distinctions now, right? We're just making distinctions here. So we know, like, we meet different people. With some people there's a resonance, with other people there may be less resonance or common interest, or even just physical attraction. I mean, all of that stuff. So, and then it's like when you're walking around your garden, I mean, maybe there's some plants, if we give them the label weed, then we have a certain you're a weed, you're a flower, or whatever it is, but yet it's all, expressions of nature, of whatever. And of course, so maybe we pull the weeds, and maybe then you read somewhere that was actually a really very useful herb or something, I don't know. So the distinction between presence, just unconditional presence, just like sensations of are really present in me and welcome here, and then some sense of attraction or repulsion arises.
Yeah, it's actually not easy to distinguish. Like, for me, what I'm thinking of is the situation on the dance floor where like 80 people dancing freely and just no, free, no, just follow your impulses, and it's just nothing has to happen, which is beautiful.
Some people are available to make eye contact and to actually play with you, and other people are in their own space and they don't want that.
And it's all okay.
And it's all just different expressions, and then a movement happens within that.
So this is the space I love a lot, and to just move in there and see what wants to happen. And so usually it's beautiful to meet with someone, like have a dance together, or like eye contact, or not even that, just feel the energy of someone. And yeah, what happened lately to me was like I was dancing with one woman all the time. It became more and more, and it was like the focus really changed. Like everything else was like background. And so something happened there. And then there was an idea of, after this happened for some sessions, there was an idea I would love to, like, I don't know, if you drive a car and you have like 4,000 speeds a minute, you change gear. So it felt like it was time to change gear, or to like, I never exchanged phone numbers, for example, as a principle. So it's just the dance floor and that's it. And then by this time it felt like, wow, there's a longing to have, a longing to have more of it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, it's, you know, it's you know, it's like, I would say in all of us there's a yearning and that yearning pure is, you could say, the yearning to be at one with totality. And it's a very sweet yearning, you know, it's like that. And then within that yearning, there's also a yearning to be held and caressed, and to meet deeply, and to have a sense of community, or like that. That's also within the yearning, and not to feel connected, you could say, to be in life in a way where there's beautiful interactions. Yeah. So I remember once, some years ago, this woman showed up here in Australia, and I could feel that she had an interest to be with me. And at the time I was with Micah, and that interest that she had was disturbing to me in a certain way, because, you know, there was finding her attractive, and at the same time I felt conflicted in it. I didn't quite know how to navigate it. And so at the time I said to Micah, look, you know, this is here, and I can feel I have an idea in my mind that it's not okay to move with that there would be consequences for Mike and myself. I didn't quite know how to deal with it. And I said to look, somehow for me, I need to take this idea away that I know what I'll do one way or another. I need to be just present in that. And because I can see when when something in me makes it not allowable, then it became even more intense. Then it was like really playing in my mind. And So, okay, I took and then all of a sudden I could just be in it and enjoy the invitation, but it wasn't driving me crazy anymore. It was like something changed when I was when somehow there was permission in me, from me, not from anyone outside, just from within me, that I could see what was true for me. But it was interesting exploration because I didn't know what I would do. I just didn't know if I would go for it, if I wouldn't go for it. And I could say my life has been a journey of exploring those nuances in many different forms. And yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, it was like, yeah, I decided, I talked to Andrea, and we talked a lot these days, and it has been a beautiful deepening, so which is beautiful in itself already. So we shared a lot more than ever, I would say.
Yeah, because it does. It brings up, it's like looking at subtleties of where somehow we're not true to our own movements because of being afraid of what'll happen if we are. So, like in a sense, we start to feel in a prison. And that's really not healthy. But again, it's just, like I'd say, it's an internal story, because it's like, you're connecting with someone, you're living your life together, and there's a wanting to, there's an honoring of that and an appreciation of that, and not wanting to stuff it up. But it also is recognizing that it can stuff it up by starting to construct life in a way that doesn't feel free anymore. And
yeah, what came up to me, I never thought about it before, but what came up, I looked at the internet about polyamory, and it felt like, okay, it's not my interest to stop anything, but to yeah, get wider around it. And it felt actually, yeah, to me it felt very natural, actually.
yeah,
like,
yeah, I understand.
And at the same time, yeah, there's a lot to to talk and to I have the feeling I became more honest, or I dared to share more about myself, which
and to me that's incredibly healthy. And then just to feel, okay, like the support of your partner, friend, whatever you want to call them, in honoring that and saying, okay, yes, I get that that's on your screen, and I'm here, and I see you're not being flippant in it, and I understand that movement. I know it in myself, and yeah.
So
and then to be in that exploration without knowing, am I going to, how's it going to go? You don't know. It really could, because you know, you're moving into areas that, like, where there can be intense emotion, intense, you know, and so it's like, wow, is there enough space here to just at least have the space to explore and see what's true for you?
Yeah, and usually when you go for it, it's like actually it feels like there, in the moment it feels there won't happen anything, because it doesn't seem to be an interest to have contact more than on the dance floor. So in this case, but what I can see is there's a space in me where there's a longing, which is like constantly, in a way, like I don't feel it all the time, but there's a place where, yeah, there's where there's a longing to, yeah, somehow meet in a way that, like, what it feels to me like relaxing and letting go even deeper, like really dissolving in a way.
That's, yeah, I mean, I'd say that that's in the big yearning of really being in life in a way that is not lived through conditioning, through ideas, through just being true to the movements that open up in us. So I totally get it, you know.
And at the it's for sure, it's I love it. I mean, it's the whole journey is beautiful. I mean, it's not a problem.
And that's the other thing is, you know, like in this urge, you could say, in this yearning to meet deeply, but in most systems there's confusion. Very often the signals are confused. So you could meet on the dance floor and you were getting certain signals, and for you it felt like that maybe there was an interest to explore deeper from her side, and so you put yourself out there and then found out no, there isn't actually. It's just only so it's curious, like, you know, am I misreading the signals, or are the signals confused that are coming? And yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
it's like a whole unknown territory. The world, I mean, someone else is living in. If you just, I mean, the bodies interact in a way, but the whole mindset is, yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just it's been very alive between us in the last days. Because and I feel, yeah, it's there's a great willingness to really explore together with Andrea and really to find out what it means. And
how lucky is that?
yes, I really can say it. It's just, I mean, I'm so happy that we both are willing to explore together, and it's really a great benefit already.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing of just the capacity to be honest, it's like to be naked. I mean, in a way, it's deeper than honesty. Even it's just like, okay, wow, this is going on in me, and
I could see how difficult it was. Like, I thought, no, I can't tell this. Like, a friend of mine said, yeah, you fell in love. And I didn't want to use these words. I was, no, I can't. No, it doesn't. I can't. And I don't want to admit to myself, and I don't want to share it with Andrea. It was just, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that's why I was saying to you, this falling in love for me falls into the category of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a like, okay, there's a resonance and there's a love flow and it's mature, and then seeing how that wants to express. The falling in love has to do, with it's a whole universe.
Yeah, but it's happening as well. I mean, it's just like
yeah, it's happening. But what is that falling in love? It's like you start looking at what is it actually.
It just felt like I want more of this.
Yeah, so I want more of this. Yeah. But then I want more of this. And what is this that you want?
Yeah. This I mean, it's different with every person you meet. It's a different energy, and it's just like, and there's a deep relaxation in this, which is like, I don't know, maybe it feels a bit like a drug, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll go out on a limb here a little bit. Let me see how much time we got. No, we got.
Oh.
No, it's okay. When I look at nature, like flowers attract bees, and around, you look with like animals, when a female dog is in heat, all the males go crazy. When she's not in heat, the males like to just lay around. They're cool. They're not busy with it. But when she comes into heat, when they come into heat, all the males kind of get excited. Yeah. So with humans, it's like, I mean, again, I guess our closest are chimpanzees and bonobos and this, and how they function is they don't have this. It's not even about heat. It's part of their whole social structure. So, it's like, but so, for human beings, it seems like, the feminine, in my experience anyway, it's like, will give a signal and the male responds to the signal. It can also go the other way around, where there's an alpha male and women feel like something in them responds to the urge to, you could say, procreate with an alpha male. So it plays, but it's just this funny dynamic, you could say, of how life moves. It's just like it wants to make more of itself. And yeah. So, like there's all these signals, you could say, that are confused in our culture, for sure. It's like it's so it's confusing to be in that field of, well, what does somebody really want? What's happening? And then discerning, okay, what's really appropriate to me, and what's, it's like, I guess, in some circles, it's just like, where can I find someone for the night, and so I'm not lonely? Or in other circles, it's like, I want more meaningful, deep connections, and I'm open to explore more of those. I mean, it's such a vast field. So, yeah. I don't know if I've just speaking from my experience.
What I sense, it's a bit more about this becoming a real thing. And as I said last time when we meet, I really love to perceive Adrian in this, and to, I mean, otherwise it's, of course, it's a roller coaster, but when everything is settled and the view is clear, it's all about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, for me, it's the biggest honor to accompany someone to come in alignment with his essence, or however you want to call it, his utmost expression possible in this embodiment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's an aspect to your beingness that it does have that curiosity to be in life in a full way, and that includes everything. And so, it's like that's where you guys meet. You both have that interest to meet life in that way. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
And so beautiful to have even more company in that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Tyler. Hi, Tyler.
Hello. I just wanted to say thank you, because I've been coming to your meetings for some time now, so I just wanted to thank you.
Yeah, so welcome, Tyler. Yeah. This is the first time I think we spoke.
Oh, I spoke to you one time, about a few months ago, so.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I now remember. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't, that's just all. I just wanted to say thank you.
No, perfect. Thank you for speaking, and thank you for just taking a moment to meet like this.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, excellent. Yes, sir. Susanna. Hi.
Hi, Isaac. Just did the setup of the computer, so it's convenient. Hi, Isaac.
Yeah.
Just would like to be with you for the last minutes.
You're welcome.
It feels so excitement in the heart and in the belly, and so loving, excited, very sweet. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you. Yes. Relation.
Hi.
Hi.
So this caring and unconditional love, it helped me really much, this your sentence, I know it better than you, because I have it with my partner. So he always get pissed when I want to give him advice, something. And I often know it better, the physical and body and this, So how to say it then? How to be in this unconditional love?
Well, this caring story is a confusion. I mean, it's this it's like just experimenting in yourself in this moment, just being gently present here, no agenda, nothing. And then moving into looking through the filter of caring. I know how it should be. Just backwards and forwards between those two, just resting, and there's your partner with the patterns, with everything, and then caring, just feeling backwards and forwards what happens.
It makes it narrow. Is that?
Narrow,
Yeah.
like that, yeah. Nothing right about it, nothing wrong, just exploring what happens. Yeah.
So just say anything or what?
Again, this is, it's like, I don't think it has to do with saying or not saying. I think it's whether the saying is coming from, look, if someone has an interest and they come to you and they say, look, what do you know about this? That's one thing. But if you walk up to someone and you start telling them something that they have no interest in, they're going to tell you to piss off, just like you would tell them to piss off. It's just, So
it's so hard for me to understand that there's no interest to get the body better or something. So
and it's possible that if there's no agenda and this caring story is not there, then maybe there would be a reach. Well, what do you know about this? But it's like, if someone comes up to someone that has this caring propensity, and it's like, it almost feels you have to make a deal with the devil to get to, it's like
I'm a nurse, so it's really hard stuff to
same thing
with the
it's
devil.
Like,
Yeah, but it's a good
because it's suddenly entering into this very narrow field. It's like, I don't know how it is for you when you go to a doctor and they start trying to give you advice. How does it feel? Thank you for caring and fuck off.
I can see it's their job to do it.
And so like, okay, good, thanks for the information, and then now let me digest and see what resonates with me. It's like, if you can have that quality of conversation, then it feels great. It's now you're in teamwork. But most people don't have that interest. It's like,
Yeah, but it's, I can practice this maybe.
Well, it's just, I think, just that distinction that you could feel, how it got narrow. Just
This
start
can
to feel
change
start to recognize when an expression with your partner starts to get narrow. Oh, sorry, it went narrow there. I meant well, but I could see it. This is your sorry.
Yeah.
I'd much rather meet you beautifully than lay a trip on you. That's what it boils down to.
And also for me, it's
for sure, for everyone.
I did it for decades.
Yeah, of course. I would say it's more the pattern did it.
Yeah. Thank you, Isaac.
Welcome. Thank you, beloveds, for being here. Thank you, Bas, again for hosting. Love.